Hello everyone, Pierce Nation here. Welcome to a brand new news segment. And today we got some big news. This is just one of the many things I wanted to talk about. Like, I already knew that this came out. I already know what these cards do. But I want to try to explain a few things. First of all, before we get any further, as you can see, we are now sponsored by W Energy. Use code PierceNation47 to get 10% off checkout. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about before we go any further with the video or anything else is the products that W can and will sell. So let's go over W. And W always does promotional stuff like this when you enter the website, whatever. But basically, if you're going to start, I would start with, you know, your 5-pack sampler that comes with a shaker and whatnot. And they have really good, you know, energy powders. They come in tubs, which we're getting those in. They haven't come in yet, so they said it would be 3 weeks for me to get them. I've only been sponsored for 6 days, so make sure that you go and check these guys out. Again, if you use code PierceNation47, you will get 10% off the checkout. But these are just a few of the little things they sell on the website. Again, I will have stuff come in. I will review the product so you can see it. I already know their stuff's really good, and they sell really good product. We're gonna get, you know, stickers for the deck boxes that I'm gonna be getting in. They just got a Black Wolverine shaker. They got all these other different shakers which are just awesome. If you lift or you like to pack stuff, they do have a W duffel bag, which is really nice. And then they have shirts. Obviously they have the spaceman tee. They got the 2 hats, hoodie, shirt, whatever you want, you know. These hoodies, I will say, are really nice and they're really soft, so I do recommend those. But again, these are all the products that they sell currently, and they are looking to add to it. So if you all go and use my code, I will get commission for it as well. So that's why I want to make sure that I'm promoting W in the best ways and shapes and forms that I possibly can. Now, and we all need to be thanking W, because without W, I would not have my first sponsor. So, moving on. Drytron. Back to the subject. Drytron. This deck is going to be busted. You have no idea. Drytron players don't even know. So allow me to explain to you. So you can 1-for-1 this. I don't know if I would play 1-for-1 because the deck is too consistent now. But let's say for sake of draw, you do. For me, it doesn't really matter, because most of your stuff can send anyway. But let's say for draw, because I'm definitely going to play cross out, call by for draw, because this deck becomes its own entity. And what I mean by that is the deck just becomes absolutely cracked in ways that I cannot explain. Okay, so it becomes a pure entity that allows itself to really shoot off. So if you control a Drytron card, you can spell summon this card. So even if you have Fafnir, the field spell, nothing else, you can spell summon this card. That is cracked. Now I will tell you, if you do not play the field spell, which is this card right here. Again, we're gonna be going over this. This is not gonna be one of those short segments, and there's more good support that I want to go over. So even if you have this card, you should be playing 3 of this card at this point, because this card is really good. Gonna be one of the best decks when this deck comes out is Tenpai, and you can modulate the levels. So that's something that is very, very good going forward. Now, I was just about to say the game has gone to shit, and then they announced Drytron support. I am one of the original Drytron players. I was the one who invented the fairies in Drytron. I got top 8 at the only YCS you can play in 2020. So go me. Anyway, this is going to be really good going forward. And if you do not know the other drytron cards, because if you net deck, you don't know what the other drytron cards do. But you need to put 3 field spell, gets to a spell trap, which is really good. Nova shot up in price. Unfortunately, I have 3 of them. So for all of you that don't have 3 of them, there's your price tag. That is $75 for Novas, and those will not drop. Neither will this. You need 3 of this as well, and these are for at least 2. If you can do 2, you can get 1 of these and be fine. But I mean, if you're gonna get Drytron, you might as well max it out. I'm not gonna lie. And I have always played, I will tell you this, I have always played 1 M1. Always. Every single list I've ever played. Simply because this is a really good card. Cannot be targeted by spells or traps. Period. It is a freaking Harpy Feather Duster if you use 2 or less, which there's very small occasions where I didn't use 2 or less. But again, it's a feather duster. A walking feather duster. So like it's always good. Now it's not as good as Draconis, because one, Draconis has a quick effect to banish cards, to send a card to graveyard, or send cards to graveyard for every 2,000. And then he's got, you know, his built-in effect, which opponent can't target him with monster effects, and he can swing it all supposed to some of the monsters your opponent controls. Like, those are 2 really good effects that go with his 3rd really good effect. Okay, so again, not as good, but you still play the card because it's a 4K beater. That is a Harpy Feather Duster built in, and when this gets dropped, no one knows that. No one. I have seen like 0 people pick up on that. And back when I played it, back in, you know, Tri Brigade, Zodiac, Drytron format, no one knew that. They're like, oh, you're the first one I've seen play this card. And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm at the top tables and you're not. I'm not saying that. Okay, apparently we got back on Star Wars, which we'll go over that later. That's something else I'm going to go over too. Not in this video, but it's just one of those cards that, like, if you don't see it, there's a reason. And if you're not using it, you need to really read it and see if you can implement it, because it's just another ritual. Plus, the new support, if you read any of this stuff, will lock you into machine ritual monsters, which simply means that you must play these cards now, because these are your best options. Now, what is a really good option is you could play the Magical Musketeer. I believe is what it is. Whatever it's called. I don't really know. I used to play it, but I forgot the name of it. But it gets the counter trap or whatever, as long as you control a Magical Musketeer. It's like an Omni. But I mean, it's kind of cool. I do not like Usortic Drytron. I've never liked it since launch. I just find it to be a bad card. This is the card you need to be looking for. This is a cheap card. This is a card that has gone under the radar. Let me put this back up a little bit. This is Drytron Meteor Shower. If you've never seen this card, that's because spells and traps in Drytron used to be really hard to search. We now have at least 2 ways to search this. What this does is it is a normal or special summon negate. Now this is for inherent effects, basically. So like if you link summon, you can negate it, shuffle it. If they normal summon something that's very powerful, you can negate it, spin it, whatever. And even if they special summon a monster due to like a summoning condition, you can still spin it, which is nice. You can only do this while you control a ritual monster. Now, this card used to be like almost unsearchable, but Drytron did get a lot of support, as in the newer cards, as in this card. This card doesn't search a spell or trap, but it does search a monster, which is kind of huge. So if you're playing Drytron as a pure entity, you will be able to get into almost every single card. Once it loads, because apparently it's taking too long, as you can see, there's a lot of Drytron names. Now, which ones are most important? I think once Drytron becomes a thing and you're wanting to play it as a pure entity, you need to be playing 3 of Rastabon. I used to play this card all the time, but I only played like 1 or 2 of it. Now, with how Drytron wants to play, and with Bestials gonna be main decked because of Drytron and Gimmick Puppet, they'll be at the same time. We'll go over the Gimmick Puppets here in a minute. They're going to be DD crowing, bestialing these things out of grave. So what you can do is you can play this card, the card that nobody plays. It's another Drytron name. It's another body. Also, it'll help you get into your 5k beater really quick. And what this does is it will bring a Drytron from Banish back in the graveyard. Now, it is just 1, but it has the same summon condition as every other Drytron card, which is huge and can push the deck to high limitations. So if you get the 5k beater out, they can't stop it. You can then throw down the other 2 4k beaters and swing for game easy. So the OTK status in Drytron is wicked right now, and will be when this stuff comes out in the Out of Infinite Forbidden. Now, do I think it's the best card? No. As long as you're playing the card at least 2 copies, I don't see a problem with it. It's like Altaz. As long as you're playing 2 copies of this card, I don't see a problem with it. But you've got to be able to see these cards. You've got to be able to see that. This, no higher than 2. I've never liked this card high. I never have personally. Now, maybe it's good in the future. Autobahn and Thuban, they're still at 3. Like, do not touch these ratios at all. It's like, yeah, what do you do under Droll? Well, you make this and you send it. And then, you're gonna play a card that you've never played in your fucking life. You're gonna play Drytron Eclipse. If you've never heard of this card, probably because you do not know what Drytron actually is supposed to do. And this is what it does. You can target a Drytron monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, which means if you hard draw this card, you're on top deck mode, and you are able to get this off, you can literally go full combo on 1 card. Pretty simple. It's not that hard. As you can see, the card's 3 cents. Playing 2 of this card is not the worst case scenario, but playing 1 of it is going to be mandatory. I'm just going to alarm you there. Also, it does have a graveyard effect, which you cannot use it turn. It is sent, which means you target a Drytron monster, it'll gain 2k until the end of your opponent's turn, which gives you enough time, whatever. And then, you know, you basically have 2k. You basically do this to Draconis, and he becomes like a machine, because he literally is a machine. So, you know, that's these are things that you need to be looking for when playing this deck. Okay, so now that I think you're kind of getting the gist of how this deck works, if you've never played it, I'm a master of Drytron. That I'm 100% convinced that there is no better Drytron pilot than me when it comes as a pilot. Now, this is a searcher for Drytron monsters, which is huge because we have not had this, and I bitched about this since launch. We should have had this on launch. but we didn't, so it is what it is. But that's different than every drytron card. Okay, so you can still search this off of Cyber Emergency. You can actually special summon this due to its own effect, or you can 1-for-1 this. Whether if you do effect 1 or effect 2 here, it will lock you into machine ritual monsters, which is why I'm saying you don't need to play other ritual monsters besides the drytron names, because they're just not that important. You can special for hand or grave, banish one list. It doesn't really matter because Rostabon can return it. That's why you're playing the card, okay? So if you're requesting my Rostabon shit, it allows you to get it back. Don't use each once per turn. It's fine. You can still get it back. That's the main thing. So that is what it is. Now we're gonna go over Drytron Meteorus Dad. I forget what Dad actually means, but it has like it had some like actual thing to it. Hang on, I have the translation because, you know, I like to have the translations for certain cards and what they're called. Yeah, I got it right here. The dad in this ritual monster is called December Alpha Draconis. Don't know why it's called that, but that is what it is called. So December Alpha Draconis here is pretty damn good. So it has a you can. So it, again, it's generic, but it's more specific to Drytron cards with its destruction effects. So your opponent cannot destroy other Drytron monsters you control, which if it was cards it'd be pretty mid, but monsters is fine because that's mainly what we do anyway. Twice per turn, when your opponent activates monster effect, quick effect, you can banish Drytron monsters from your graveyard whose total attack is equal to or exceeds the opponent's monster's original attack. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So again, you can see why we're playing Rostabon 3. Because to get to your one card combos, you've got to return it back to grave. Now, if it gets bestial once you return it, there ain't nothing you can do about that. You just gotta go on. If this ritual card is destroyed by your opponent, you can special summon one ritual monster with 4,000 from hand or deck. This is treated as a ritual summon. So I had people ask, if you have the two ritual monsters and they get destroyed, well, this guy gets destroyed, and you want a special one or the other, which is Quadrantis or Draconis, that have the ones in 4K, do they get their effects since they were technically ritual summoned, but they didn't use a level? And the answer is yes, simply because they were used with 2 or less. So it does not use this monster for the ritual summon, it just special summons them to make it a ritual summon. So as you can read right here. And then we have this card, which is Meteor Aura Drytron. I do not know if I like this card in the first place, because okay, if a Drytron monster or card is banished, you contribute one Drytron monster you control, then target 2 banished Drytron cards, add them to your hand. That's pretty mid. You can build 1 Meteorus Drytron in the hand, ritual summon 1 machine ritual monster from your hand or graveyard, by attributing machine monsters from your hand or field whose attack equals or exceeds the attack of the ritual monster. Now, I don't like that effect. I'm not gonna lie. The first effect's mid. The second effect is terrible. Allow me to explain. First of all, you have to have Meteorus Drytron in hand. More than likely, you will not, because you've already used Meteorus Drytron to shit out the 5K dude. So there's a problem there. Second of all, you have to have the monsters to tribute for the ritual summon if you haven't already comboed off and got everything where it needs to be. Thirdly, if a drytron card is banished, you tribute a monster that you control target to, add them to hand. The chances of me actually tributing something that is not of value is not very likely. So I do not like this card. I do not believe that you will play this card. I believe you will play Meteor Shower and Eclipse instead of this. That's if you're playing it pure. If you're not playing it pure, keep locking people out, keep doing that, and never top. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is that if you play what I tell you to, you're gonna do good. But I wouldn't play this. No. Maybe there's a combo I'm not seeing, and maybe somebody will prove me wrong. But I mean, I hindsight, I don't see it. So that's all the drytron support. 3 cards, which was more than I figured we would get. Before we go any further, oh my god, let's spell it wrong. I'm spelling it wrong. It's or sorry, I forget what it's actually called. I have the card. Where is it? Damn it. That's what's get on my nerves, is I have this card. What did I do with it? I thought I put it in the stick box, didn't I have it somewhere. Hang on. Damn it. I was about to say, I literally just had this deck. I was just tweaking with Drytron last night. That is my Star Wars deck. Where the fuck? Oh my god, what did I do with it? But oh, sorry here. I'm an idiot. Never mind. Stop y'all. I'm trying to find the card so you all know what I'm talking about. You all know the best cards to play for this deck. I'm not leaving you on a limb. There it is. Oh, it's not even a Sardic. It technically is. This guy. Ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha, which is a Usardic and a Drytron card. So if you do not have this card, you need to get a hold of it. And don't let people know that this card is cracked. If you've never read this card, it basically is your spell and trap searcher that you're gonna do. So you're gonna get 2 spells and trap searches, and this is the main one that you want to do. So if you play Usardic or you play Drytron, this card is really fucking good for you. I've seen some people doing something with Dracosac, which looked intricate, looked neat. I'm not gonna do that because I just find it to be like really bad. But if you think it's more cracked, go for it. But basically, it cannot be normal summoner set like every other Drytron card. If you control a Drytron card or a Usardic card, you can spell summon this card from your hand, which is super important. Now, what this does is it adds you a Drytron or Usardic spell or trap from deck to hand. Now, if you're playing Usardics, do your thing. We're gonna play the good deck, and we're gonna play Drytron, and we're gonna play 3 of this fucking bitch because it literally says add any drytron spell or trap. So you can start this in many different ways. So if you start with Nova, you can get to that card, and from that card, it'll go effect, add you a spell or trap. You will then add, if I can get on it, Fafnir. You activate Fafnir. Fafnir effect will either grab Eclipse or Shower, and then you can go from there. And if you have a hand that has Alpha, New, or any of those cards, you just full combo. And when you end, you'll either have a way to produce follow-up and a way to OTK next turn. You'll have a Omni, because they didn't really print a good trap. This is a card I've never looked at, and I do not think this is good. But maybe side like 1, I don't know. I have not really tested this card a whole lot, but it is a Drytron card that you can add. During the main, you can target 1 Drytron monster or 1 ritual monster you control, and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Your monster loses exactly 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn, and if it does, destroy that opponent's monster. Which basically means I'll target mine and yours. I'll drop yours by 1,000, or drop mine by 1,000 to destroy yours. Which it's removal. Okay, maybe one of it and like 1 Eclipse. It's always something. Like, you can do this now. You can drop the 5k beater to a 4k to destroy that monster, which is fine. You know, because all Drytron cards do drop attack, but they're always until the end of your opponent's turn. Always. And really good removal. So I think it's pretty good. So I'd probably do 1-on-1. Again, no card that no one buys. Literally, you're gonna pay more in shipping than you will actually buying the damn card. You're basically getting the card for free just to pay the shipping. Now, we're gonna move on because we've been 27 minutes into a news segment of me explaining Drytron and what you can do. We're not gonna do these. I've already looked at these, and there's not really anything that really jumps out at me besides Mekk-Knight support in there, which if you've not seen it, indicates an entire column. So you can go in there. It's a pendulum monster, whatever. I'm interested in this, and for this video, I have not read any of these fucking cards, but I did see some of the screenshots of the actual cards, and they look busted as fuck. Let's find out. All right, this is Gimmick Puppet Little Soldiers. This card is normal or special summon. You can send 1 Gimmick Puppet monster with a different level from deck to graveyard. Then this card's level becomes the same level as the monster sent. That's fucking good. You can banish this card from graveyard and then target 2 Gimmick Puppet monsters you control. Increase their levels by 4 until the end of this turn. Oh, so you can play the little ones now. Ooh, I like that. So we're starting off strong. This card's really good. Gimmick Puppet Bloody Doll. Look at that. That is awesome. That's a retrain of the old Gimmick Puppet. I forget what her fucking name was. Let's see. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate either of these effects except Gimmick Puppet monsters. Which you're gonna want to do this because Nightmare is literally like the best Gimmick Puppet if you've never played an actual Gimmick Puppet deck. It's one of the best. It's not the best, but it's one of them. But again, it hard locks you into Gimmick Puppets, which is fine. If this card is in your hand, you can reveal 1 Gimmick Puppet Xyz monster from your extra deck. special both this card and one gimmick puppet monster from the deck whose level is the same as the revealed rank. So it just cheats out Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. That's cracked. If this card is sent to the graveyard except from the hand, you can add this card to the hand. Is that once per duel? Oh my. That's kind of fucking cracked. Oh my god. Bro, I'm gonna have to buy Gimmick Puppets now. Holy shit. Gimmick Puppet Cattle Scream. Use each of the effects once per turn. You can only use one effect of this card once per turn. Ooh. You can detach one Xyz monster from your field. Special summon this card from the hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves. A Gimmick Puppet Xyz monster with this card's name gains this following effect. You can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field in defense position. Okay, so this card right here is pretty mid, but it doesn't target, which means as long as you have an Xyz monster on your field, you can special summon this card. And again, it is an 8, so it is handy just to get to. This I was kind of interested in. Let's see. Gimmick Puppet Phantom Machina. Or Machina. It would have to be Machina. I think it makes sense. You can use each of the first and second effects of this card once per turn. You can detach one material from this card, add one rank up magic spell from deck to hand. That's a good card. Then during the main phase of this turn, you can normal summon one machine monster in addition to your normal summoner set. That's good. You can only gain this effect once per turn. If you special summon a Gimmick Puppet Xyz monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard to either field, either side of the field in defense position. Then you can add one rank up spell from graveyard to your hand. So I don't know if you know Gimmick Puppets all that well and why it keeps implementing the rank up spell. This deck does have a win con, and it used to be difficult, but if you play these with Goblin Riders, you can potentially get the Leo win con fast. Oh, especially with a card like this. Gimmick Puppet Fanatics Machina. So you will have to rank this one up. It's 3 level 9s. And you cannot make level 9s in this deck. If this card is special summoned, you can add one puppet trap from deck to hand. You can detach one material from this card, special summon one monster from either graveyard to your opponent's field in defense position. Oh, that's fucking dirty. Good thing that's not a quick effect. That's fucking dirty. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of them, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of its original attack. Ay ay ay. Hellish Puppet Mansion. Oh my god, they got a fucking field spell. Can only activate this card once per turn. When this card's activation resolves, you can add one Gimmick Puppet monster from deck to hand. Bro, they're getting a broken field spell? Your Gimmick Puppet monsters cannot be destroyed in battle. Also, they are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's non-Xyz monsters. What the fuck? What in the fuck is this? Once per turn, you can detach one material from your field, target one Gimmick Puppet monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position. Holy shit. What are you... What are they trying to do? Oh boy, I bet you this is gonna do something fucking stupid. Puppeteers play the best puppet. Look at that card. Target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of gimmick puppet exceeds monsters you control. Take control of them until the end of the turn. If you control a gimmick puppet exceeds monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one exceeds monster in either graveyard except the turn it was sent to the graveyard. Special summon it to either player's field in defense position. So basically what you do is you spam all these guys out, including the other gimmick puppets which we already have, and then you use this trap to take them all, and then you use their effects accordingly, because the gimmick puppet monsters that we currently have are kind of fucking busted. These cards are absolutely insane. That is fucking retarded. Like, that's not just like, it's not like Tempile where it's like only during your main phase. They are unaffected, period. Like, that is cracked. Can't be destroyed by battle and they're unaffected? Get fucked. I think it's 3100. This one's got 3100 defense to make it even worse. And so let's go type in some gimmick puppets here, and I'm gonna show you why that the unaffected and the can't be destroyed by battle is, you know, such a big thing. Okay, so let's start with number 88 here. Number 88 is a card that does have a win con, and again, if you can't get rid of them, you're gonna lose. The problem that this deck has had is it's had no fucking protection. Now you get a fucking card that says you can't do shit. Bro, I don't know where to start with these damn things. That is fucking insane. And you're wondering like, oh, 3 destiny counters, it's not that bad. No, you can detach a material, put a fucking counter on it. This card will win the game. Now, not only that, but that thing's at 3200. The card you rank that sucker up into is even worse. Which, I don't even know if he's on this page here. Like, dude, this is fucking ridiculous. I thought Tenpai was bad. Like, Gimmick Puppet's gonna hit like tier 0 status. Like, I mean, yeah, this freaking card, it ain't small either. This puts string counters on everything, and anything with a string counter, I believe it gets its effects negated if I'm not wrong. Oh, no. It can blow them all up. Look at that. 33. Well, I don't know if this one blows them up. Oh yeah, it destroys monsters with string counters. So to make things even worse, like, I want Gimmick Puppets to be good. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Gimmick Puppet fan, but god damn it, I didn't want them to be this fucking good. Oh, by the way, here's the win con. So now, can't be destroyed by battle, unaffected by everything except for Xyz monsters. Number 3, get fucked. Like, holy crap. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Plus, this card can't be targeted, so this makes it better. That if you remove the card, if you have any targeting effects, get fucked. You can't do shit. So basically, you detach one material to burn. During your end phase, if your opponent's life points 2,000 or less, this card's got no materials, you win. Not very hard to do. But holy crap. So, if I'm looking forward to anything in the future, I think it is going to be these 2 new groups of support for my two favorite decks, known as Drytron and fucking Gimmick Puppets. And this card can go straight to fucking hell. And it would be main decking Cosmic Cyclone. Because if you can't deal with this card, you're screwed. And I think Field Barrier might be a card that gets mained in this deck. So, let me know what you think about all of this new support in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and also make sure to visit W to get your energy product needs. Again, I do get commission off of it. Use code PierceNation47 to get 10% off at checkout. Again, I am Pierce Nation, and we will see you in the next video. Pierce Nation, out.